Hello and welcome back to another interesting and informative session of The Analyst by Vajiram and Ravi, dated 11th May 2024. Today we will be discussing some important topics that has appeared in today's The Hindu and The Indian Express newspapers that are very relevant for your exam. The first topic is related to the ongoing elections and the related reasons for these low voter turnouts. Then we will be moving towards our second topic, that is bail provisions in India. Then our next topic will be related to the topic of UNCLOS. Then our next topic will be a very interesting term, Orangutan Diplomacy. Then our next topic will be Inter-Services Organizations Act. Then at the end we will be looking into some prelims snippets that will help you in excelling the upcoming prelims exam. So stay tuned. So our first topic is related to low voter turnouts in recent ongoing Lok Sabha elections. The context of this particular topic is the low voter turnouts that has been registered in initial phases of Lok Sabha elections and allegations of delay by some political parties that Election Commission is delaying in release of data about the voter turnouts. So this particular topic pertains to syllabus of your UPSC prelims Indian polity and syllabus of your GS2 transparency and accountability, constitutional bodies and related issues. So let's try to understand the background of this particular topic. Recently, the third phase of elections has been completed for the ongoing Lok Sabha elections. So after the voting on May 7, the ECI said that the polling was 61.45%, but at subsequent stages, it has updated the data of voter turnouts to 67.33%. So ECI said the reasoning that they gave for this updation of data that the returning officers are sending these data with a delayed time, and that's why this updated data is coming with a time lag. So, and what the Election Commission also said that the data of the initial phase of elections that has completed, even that are not final. That voter turnout data of the initial phase of elections will be only final after the counting of votes of the postal ballots. So why there is this delay? This delay in updation of data is because of the connectivity issues. This is also been highlighted by the Election Commission. What is this connectivity issue? The issue is regarding to that many of the polling stations are in hinterlands, are in hilly terrains, in northeast states, which are the polling stations are not properly connected by the road, railways and other means of transportation. So polling officers doesn't reach the district headquarters on time. And second is the internet connectivity issue. Until and unless, due to lack of proper internet connectivity, until and unless these returning officers will be reaching to the district headquarters, it will not be possible for them to update these particular data about the voter turnout at their polling stations. So these are the issues that has been flagged by the ECI about the delay in updation of data about the voter turnouts. Now, I want to draw your attention towards this particular chart where it says that the average national turnout in the 2014 elections was 65.8%, whereas in 2019 it was 67.2%, and till May 7 p.m. this particular national average is only 61%. So this voter turnout has been reducing at a larger extent as compared to 2014 and 2019 elections in the ongoing 24 elections Lok Sabha. Now we will try to understand the another thing that has been said by the Election Commission. They said that the final data for each polling station is shared in Form 17C with all the polling agents of each political parties that are present in those polling stations. So let's try to understand what is Form 17C. As per the Conduct of Election Rules 1961, it provides two forms, Form 17A and Form 17C. Under Form 17C, it consists of a register of voters that are coming to that polling stations. So here the polling officials records the details of every voter who comes into that particular polling station booth and signs the registers. The point to emphasize here is that it doesn't guarantee that a particular person who has signed into the Form 17A have casted their votes properly. So here the form 17C comes, that a person came into that polling station, he has signed that particular register in the form 17A, and then the form 17C comes which accounts for the votes that are recorded in that particular polling stations. Then form 17C also contains the identification numbers of each EVMs that are being used in that particular polling stations. Then they also contains the total numbers of electors that are assigned at that particular polling stations. Then they also consist of the total number of voters as entered in register for voters, that is form 17A. So form 17C also contains the information that are already present in the form 17A. Then it also consists the number of voters who decided not to record their votes after signing the register. The same thing that I was explaining first, that signing of form 17C doesn't guarantee that that person have casted their vote in that particular polling station. So this form 17C will provide a clarity whether that particular person have casted his or her vote or not. Then this particular form 17C also consists of number of voters who were not allowed to vote and total number of test votes that are to be deducted. Test votes are those votes which are conducted before the polling commence to test whether those EVMs which are being used in that particular polling stations, whether that particular EVMs are working properly or not. Then the total number of votes that are recorded per electronic voting machine at that particular polling stations. So this all information are in this particular form 17C. Now the second thing, this particular form 17C consists of two parts. This is part 1 and this is one part is part 2. All the information that we have just discussed comes under the part 1. Then what comes under the part 2? Under part 2, it consists of results of the counting which are entered by the counting supervisors on the counting day. So whenever this particular form 17C, it consists of part A which contains all the details about the polling day, whereas part 2 consists of details about the counting day which are filled by the counting supervisors. Now, these are the basic things about the form 17C and 17A. We have discussed these particular things because they has been in news and they may be important for your upcoming prelims exam. Now, we will be discussing what are the reasons for low voter turnout in ongoing elections. The first reason is the internal migration. The number of internal migrants, both interstate and within state, in India is almost 45.36 crores as per the data of 2011 census, which accounts for almost 37% of the country's population. So what are the reasons for these migrations? Under this internal migration, there are some pull factors and there are some push factors. Under the push factors, we can consider the reasons like lack of development in their own hometown. Then the pull factors are good education, good employment opportunities, good health services that are there in the outgoing or the person where they are going in that particular city or town. For example, the pull factors in coming to the Delhi is the good employment opportunities that are in Delhi and the peripheral regions, good education resources that are available in Delhi and the NCR regions. So these are the some pull factors that drag people into the Delhi and the nearby areas. So when this internal migration is very high, people are outside their home constituency, and to cast their votes means that they will have to go to their hometowns, and that will lead to issues like unpaid leave, that may lead to issues like wage losses. So people are not very sure that whether they should be going to their hometown to cast their votes and lose their jobs and lose their wages. So that is a major factor that prevents them from going to their hometowns. Apart from this, the people who are watching this particular video, most of you will be an UPSC aspirant. You people are here to study about the UPSC things. So in one or other phases of elections, in your hometown also there will be elections, but there is a very little chance that most of you will be going to cast their votes. The reason is that you don't want to lose your time that you are devoting for your studies, and that is one of the reasons this you have migrated from your hometown in search of good education, and you can't cast your vote at your hometown at this point of time. So this internal migration is a very important issue for low voter turnouts in the ongoing elections. This is a particular data about the 2019 Lok Sabha elections, which says that the approximately 297 million eligible voters did not vote in 2019. The national average of voter turnout was 67.40%, but the states where the internal migration is very high, like states UP, like states of the Maharashtra, here the voter turnouts have been much lesser than the national average, and the major reason for that is the internal migration. Now moving towards the next reason is the lack, or we can say low level of interest in politics. I somewhat find it very interesting that many of the UPSC aspirants that I meet personally, when I ask them that who is the member of parliament from your constituency, who is the member of legislative assembly from your particular constituency or your hometown, many of them have no idea about that. That shows that lack of interest in the political arena. And as a UPSC aspirant, you are bound to know these things, because ultimately you are going to be part of that governance process. So apart from as a UPSC aspirant, most of the population is somewhat less interested in politics, and that also doesn't motivate them to come into the voting booths or the polling booths to cast their votes. Then the low level of awareness. The low awareness about the importance of right to vote. The low awareness about the importance of casting our particular votes. What is the impact that that particular vote will be making into the democratic process of our country. So this low awareness is also one of the reasons for the low voter turnouts. Then the urban apathy. As per the data of 2019 general elections, 50 constituencies with the lowest turnouts were those constituencies which were situated in the metropolitan cities. The 17 constituencies were situated in the metropolitan cities. This particular population, which is mainly living in the urban areas, they have low, or we can say lack of participation in the civic arena, in the political arena. They have a tendency of thinking that what is the impact or the change my one vote can make, and that this particular disenchantment or disinterest in particular about the casting of votes is also one of the reasons for the low voter turnouts in the ongoing elections or elections at large. Then another phenomena that is geographical in nature is the condition of heat waves that are prevailing in our country at this point of time. As per the Indian Meteorological Department, the heat wave conditions are going to last for more than 10 to 20 days in the month of April to June, which are majorly the months of elections in our country. So temperature are soaring above 40 degrees Celsius, and this temperature start rising from the morning and it continues till the evening. So these heat wave conditions also prevents people from coming out from their homes and going towards the polling booth to cast their elections. So these are some reasons that we have seen about the low voter turnouts. Now, what needs to be done to ensure the voter participation can be increased? The low voter turnouts situation can be improved. The first is the awareness generation. There is need for awareness generation from both the central government, from both the state governments, from the NGOs, from the civil societies, and people at large. We have to understand the importance of elections in a democratic setup. We have to understand importance of one vote in our democratic process. Whenever we will next time be questioning about the poor condition of roads, poor conditions of public resources, we should also be thinking this particular thinking that people whom we are asking these questions, whether we have participated in that electoral process while choosing that particular leader or not. So there is need for awareness generation about casting of votes in our democratic setup. Then there is need for attitudinal changes. The attitudinal changes needs to be done, that should be inculcated in ourselves. We should come out of this particular notion that our one vote cannot make any difference. Then the next suggestion is the incentives can be provided. How? These incentives, while we are providing these incentives, we should always consider the ethical consideration in mind, that these incentives should not be in monetary terms, but it can be in the form of some symbolic incentives, like a special badges can be provided, which can help in motivating the people in coming out of their homes and cast their votes. Then there is need for providing more accessible polling stations, the polling stations with proper accessibility to the disabled and old age peoples. So this will also help in increasing the voter turnouts. Then there is need for use of technologies in the ongoing elections, in the upcoming elections, to ensure the increased voter turnouts. The mobile polling stations can be set up so that people who are internally migrated, like people who are in Delhi leaving their hometowns, they can also cast their votes in these mobile polling stations. Apart from this, use of technologies like blockchain can also be used in these mobile polling stations, so that these votes cannot be tampered by any of the people involved into the supply chain. So in this way, the use of technology can also be helpful in increasing the voter turnouts. So moving towards our next topic, that is related to the bail provisions. The context of this particular topic is that recently Chief Minister of Delhi was providing interim bail by the Supreme Court of India. This particular topic pertains to syllabus of your UPSC prelims, Indian polity, and syllabus of your GS2, structure, organization and functioning of executive and judiciary. So let's first try to understand the background. This particular term bail has originated from an old French verb bailer, which means to give or to deliver. Then the CRPC, that is Criminal Procedure Code of India, does not define the word bail. It categorizes offences under the IPC or Indian Penal Code 1860 as bailable offence and non-bailable offence. So the CRPC empowers the magistrate to grant bail for a bailable offence as a matter of right. Means people who are being prosecuted under a bailable offence, they have a right of bail. Then there are non-bailable offences, where the magistrate would determine if the accused is fit to be released or not, after considering all the scenarios, all the facts related to that particular case. So these particular non-bailable offences are generally cognizable. What does cognizable offence means? Means it enables the police persons to arrest that particular person without a warrant. For example, a person have attempted a murder, or a particular person is charged of rape cases. So that comes under the non-bailable offence as well as cognizable offence, means there the police can arrest that particular person without any warrant. So now we will be looking into the different types of bails. The first is the regular bail, where the court orders the release of a person who is under the arrest from police custody after paying the amount that is required, or that is also called as the bail money. Then the provisions of applications of regular bail are provided under the section 437 and section 439 of CRPC. Then the second type is interim bail, that has been provided recently to the Chief Ministers of Delhi. This is ordered by the court to provide temporary and short-term bail to the accused until his regular or anticipatory bail is pending before the court. For example, this is a person who is accused, his anticipatory or regular bail is lying with the High Court. Then at that particular time, an interim bail can be provided by the Supreme Court. Here, while providing an interim bail, there are a lot of considerations which are kept in mind, like the health issues, health considerations, if the person's health is deteriorating. Apart from this, the humanitarian considerations are also seen. Means a particular person is pregnant, or a particular person is very old age people. So these special kind of circumstances can be considered while giving a interim bail by any particular court. Then the anticipatory bail, where the person who is under apprehension of arrest for a non-bailable offence may apply for an anticipatory bail to the High Court or the Session Courts under the section 438 for CRPC. For example, this is a person who have committed any crime and he have an apprehension that he may be arrested. So, he may apply for advance bail or anticipatory bail under this section 438 of CRPC. So, these were the types of bails that we have seen. Now, what are the major issues involving the bail provisions in India? The first is the issue of under trials. Almost 66% of prisoners in India are under trials as per the data of NCRB. And almost 2.5 lakh people in India are currently in jail without having been proven guilty, means they are under trials. So this issue of large number of under trials in the jails create lot of issues like overcrowding of jails, issues of diseases in the jails, then violence related, sexual related crimes that are also committed in the jails. So all these issues are due to the large number of under trials in that particular jails, and mostly all of the jails are in India are over occupied. The section 436A of CRPC requires an accused to be granted bail if the trial is not concluded within the specific periods. But there is very low awareness about this section 436A of CRPC. Then the section 436A also required that no person shall be detained during the period of investigation, inquiry or trial for more than the maximum period of imprisonment provided for that particular offence. For example, there is an offence that is committed by any person for which the maximum punishment is 7 years. Now that particular person is not convicted for that particular offence, but he has been arrested and had been kept in the jails for last 7 years. Means what is the maximum period of sentence that he will be getting after the conviction that he already has gone through in the prisons. So the lack of awareness about the bail related provisions and lack of institutional supports for the bails, these peoples who have already gone the maximum punishments that they will be getting for the offence that they have committed, and they are still not coming out of the jails. Then the related issue is about the lack of awareness about the rights. The same people that we have just seen, that the person who have committed a crime for which the maximum sentence is 7 years, that person is not being able to come out of the jail because of the reason about the lack of awareness about the right of bail of that particular person, that he don't know about this particular thing, that he have a right of bail. Then the lack of support system. There is no support system about the lawyers, advocates, about the money that they have to give for furnishing that bail bond. So this lack of support system also leads to the overcrowding of jails, overcrowding of the particular prisons. Then the poverty. There is lot of poverty in India. There are people who are in jails from last many years and still they are not being able to furnish the bond amount or the bond surety, that money that they have to give to get that bail and come out of the jails. Then there is reason of societal non-acceptance. When a particular person have committed a crime, he is considered guilty, he is considered convicted in the society. Whenever he is coming out of that particular jail, society do not accept with open hands, and that is that trauma that they have to go in the society, that also hinders them from coming out into the society. Instead, they think that they are well good in that particular jail also. So these are the some issues regarding the bail provisions. Now we will be looking some suggestive reform measures to improve the bail related conditions in India. The first is there is need for increasing awareness among the police personnel, that they be more compassionate towards the victims. Then there is need for improving the awareness among the prisoners about their rights of bails, etc. Then there is need for awareness generation among the society at large about the bail related provisions that are prevalent in India. Then there is need for inculcating societal workers and psychologists in the criminal justice system, that will help in humanizing the bail related issues, the prison related issues, jail related issues in India. That will help in suicidal cases that are ongoing in the jails, etc. Then there is also need to focus on the victims' rights and smart policing. Here the smart policing means, where the police is strict but sensitive, where the police is modern but mobile, where the police is alert and accountable, where police is reliable and responsive, and the police is techno savvy and trained to the needs of the 21st century society. Then there is need for separate law on the bails, and that should be drafted at the immediate stage for effective management of under trials. What is happening? The prison is a state subject under the 7th schedule of the constitution. So there is no comprehensive law and there is no uniform law to deal with the prison related issues and bail related provisions. So there is need for a uniform comprehensive law, especially for the bails, to address the issues that are there in the bail related provisions. Next is, there is need for inclusiveness in the police force across the different walks of life. People from different walks of life, like different castes, different genders, they should be included in the police force. That will ensure a balanced mindset and that will avoid indiscriminate arrest, etc. So our next topic is UNCLOS. The context of this particular topic is a write-up that has appeared emphasizing on the issues with the UNCLOS. This particular topic pertains to syllabus of your UPSC prelims, international relation and institutions. It also pertains to syllabus of your mains GS2, that is effect of policies and politics of countries on India's interests. So first, let's try to understand some background of this particular topic. The United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or abbreviated as UNCLOS, is an international treaty which was adopted and signed in 1982. This particular UNCLOS is also known as the Law of the Sea. This particular UNCLOS divides the different water bodies into different zones. The first is the internal water. It consists of the bays, harbors, ports, rivers of that particular country. Then there is territorial waters, and then is contiguous zones. Then there are exclusive economic zones. Then there are high seas, which are the areas beyond this 200 nautical miles for which there is extension was of exclusive economic zones. Here the sovereign rights are at till the particular continental shelf. It is beyond 200 nautical miles, but the rights for which that particular country is claiming, there is submission that is required to the Commission on the Limits of the Continental Shelf to confirm the rights. We will be reading about the three bodies that has been set up by this UNCLOS at the later part of time. So here you should understand that if that particular country is claiming rights beyond their exclusive economic zones under the continental shelf, this particular body will be deciding whether that particular extension will be given or not. Then there is International Seabed Authority, which will be administrating the exploration and exploitation of resources on the seabed and subsoil for the non-living resources in these high seas. So these were the basic things about the UNCLOS. Now other provisions related to this UNCLOS is that they has created three new institutions. The first is International Tribunals for the Law on the Sea, which mainly looks after the different litigations among the different seas or the different zones of these waters that are present across the borders of different countries. Then there is Commission on the Limits of the Continental Shelf, which decides the rights of that particular country beyond their exclusive economic zones, especially into the continental shelves. Then there is International Seabed Authority, which will be organizing, regulating and controlling all the mineral related activities in the international seabed area that are beyond the limits of the national jurisdiction. So the areas beyond the 1200 nautical miles, beyond the exclusive economic zones, are beyond the national jurisdiction, and here it is administered by the International Seabed Authority. Now we will be looking one previous year questions related to this particular topic. With reference to the United Nations Convention on the Law of Sea, consider the following statement. The first statement says a coastal state has the right to establish the breadth of its territorial sea up to a limit not exceeding 12 nautical miles measured from the baseline determined according to the convention. So this first statement is correct. Here it is 12 nautical miles. Then the second statement, The ships from all states where coastal or landlocked enjoy the right of innocent passage throughout the territorial area. Means this is the territorial sea. Here there will be right of innocent passage. Means for example, there is a ship which is coming from Mediterranean Sea and going towards the state of Malacca. So when this will be passing from the India's territorial water, they will have a right of safe passage from the territorial waters of the India. So this facility of safe passage from the territorial water from India is a law or is a provision of the UNCLOS, and that is what is right of innocent passage. Then the exclusive economic zone shall not extend beyond 1200 nautical miles from the baseline from which the breadth of territorial sea is measured. This also we have seen that exclusive economic zones extend till the 1200 nautical miles. So all the three statements were correct here, and the option was 1, 2, 3. The D option was correct here. So this is one of the previous year question from this particular topic, UNCLOS. So our next topic is the Orangutan Diplomacy. The context of this particular topic is that recently Malaysia is hoping to get rid of the unsustainability tag regarding the cultivation of palm oil and plantation of palm trees through its Orangutan Diplomacy. This particular topic pertains to syllabus of your UPSC prelims, current events of national and international importance, and syllabus of your mains GS2, India and its neighborhood. So let's understand the background of this particular case. The Malaysia is facing pressure from the environmental groups due to the deforestation caused by the expanding palm oil plantations. What is happening? The Malaysia is mainly dependent on the palm oil export. So they are increasing or expanding the areas of their palm oil cultivation. So for that they are doing deforestation. So many of the environmental group are saying that this is unsustainable. So here the Malaysia have came out with a out of box solution, that is Orangutan Diplomacy. They said that orangutan will be gifted to importers of the palm oil, who are the trade partners of the Malaysia. For the imports of the palm oil, they will be gifted a orangutan to show that yes, the plantations that they are doing for the palm oils, they are not unsustainable, but they are sustainable. This is majorly a symbolism to show the extraction and cultivation that they are doing for the palm oils is sustainable. So let's try to understand some basic about the orangutan. This is exclusively a arboreal animal, means they mainly lives on the trees. As per the WWF or World Wide Fund, there are 3 species of orangutan. First is Bornean, then the second is Sumatran, and third is Tapanuli. These orangutans mainly feast on the wild fruits, figs and insects that they found on the trees and the woods. They also slurp water from the holes in the trees. They can live up to 50 years, but they have relatively low productive rates because females only give birth once every 5 to 10 years. UPSC have a tendency of asking questions in the prelims, especially of some special characterizations or special features of the species which are majorly in news. So this particular information may be important for your prelims. The Bornean and Sumatran orangutans differ a little in appearance and behavior. Both have a shaggy reddish fur, but Sumatran orangutans have a larger or longer facial hair. Sumatran orangutans are reported to have a closer social bonds as compared to their Bornean cousins. The IUCN conservation status of these orangutans are critically endangered. Now let's move towards one of the previous year question or PYQ from this particular topic, orangutan. This particular question was asked in year 2023, which asks which one of the following makes a tool with a stick to scrape insects from the hole in a tree or a log of wood. The correct option was here orangutan, and B option was correct. From this particular picture you can also see that how these orangutans are extracting the insects by the help of this one stick. So here also I want to give some insights that apart from the reading things, you also observe the things that are happening around the world. You also, if you are using the social media, try to follow those pages which may help you in solving some questions in the prelims and mains. So this particular act of these orangutans was widely reported on the different social media platforms before the this particular 2023 prelims. So some people was able to solve this particular question by the use of social media because they were following those relevant channels for their exams. So our next topic is Inter-Services Organizations Act. The context of this particular topic is that the Inter-Services Organizations Command, Control and Discipline Act has been notified in a gazette and has been enforced with effect from May 10. The context we have seen, this particular topic pertains to syllabus of your UPSC prelims Indian polity. So what does this particular Inter-Services Organizations Act do? It empowers the commanders-in-chief and officers in command of inter-services organizations to exercise control over service personnel serving under them. So it empowers them to control the service personnel that are there. Then what is the objective? There were already many acts. So what is the objective? It will ensure effective maintenance of discipline and administration without disturbing the unique service conditions of each individual services. This particular inter-services organization is significant for theaterization plan that are envisioned by the government. So let's first try to understand what is this theater command means. Let's suppose there is a central command located in Lucknow for Indian Armed Forces. Then there is Central Air Command that is for Indian Air Force. So at this particular point of time, if we knew there is an attack, if there is an unfortunate attack on India, so we may need use of both armed forces or the military and air force at the same time. So it will be very difficult for us to synergize the thing, to collaborate and cooperate all the things at one particular point of time when both these commands are located in the different cities. So what the government want, they want to create a theater command where all the service personnels, all the equipments will be placed at one point of time. That is service personnels of IAF, Navy and the Army. All will be situated at one place. So this will serve different benefits. For example, it will help in synergy of resources. It will help in better utilization of resources. It will also help in developing a proper synergy between different wings of our armed forces. So for example, as I said that there are 19 commands at this particular point of time where government want to reduce into different theater commands. For example, Central Command is located in Lucknow and Central Air Command is located in Prayagraj. They want to merge this into a Northern Command that will be located in Lucknow. So the aim that I told you, that government seeks to integrate the capabilities of Army, Air Force and the Navy through this theaterization plan that they want to go with. That main aim is to optimally utilize all the resources for the wars and the operations. It will pave the way for much greater integration and jointness among the three services, and it will also help in tackling the threats, outside threats, whether from Western front or from the Eastern fronts or from any of the other fronts very effectively. Now we will be looking into some prelims snippets. The first topic is Lokpal, which is established in India to investigate and prosecute corruption among the public officials. It was originated in 1809 in Sweden. This particular concept of Lokpal was originated from Sweden. And this was result of Anna Hazare movement or India Against Corruption movement, and that led to passing of Lokpal and Lokayukts Act 2013. Under this particular act, there is a selection committee to select the Lokpals. The selection committee consists of Prime Ministers of India. It also consists of Speaker of Lok Sabha, Leader of Opposition in Lok Sabha, and after the amendment, it have been changed to Leader of Single Largest Party in the Lok Sabha, then Chief Justice of India or any of the judge nominated by the Chief Justice of India, and any eminent jurist who will be nominated by the President of India. So this was about the selection committee. Now we will looking about the jurisdiction. Under the Lokpal, its jurisdiction extends till the Prime Ministers of India, Minister of Cabinets, then the members of parliament from both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and all the employees of group A, B, C, D of the central government. So the jurisdiction of the Lokpal lies on all of these public offices. Then this particular Lokpal consists of a composition which consists of a chairperson who will be appointed by this particular selection committee and maximum of 8 members, where the half of members will be judicial members and 50% of this total 8 members should be belonging to the scheduled caste or scheduled tribes and other backward classes, minorities and women's. The superintendence of these Lokpal, it has the powers of superintendence and directs any investigation agency, including the Central Bureau of Investigation, for cases that will be referred by the Lokpal for the investigations. Now, moving towards our next topic, that is National Commission of Women, which is a autonomous and statutory body set up by National Commission for Women Act 1990. The Lalita Kumar Mangalam was appointed as the first chairperson in year 2014. This particular NCW consists of a chairperson, 5 members and a member secretary who are nominated by the central government. They have a tenure of 3 years. What are the various functions and responsibilities of this National Commission for Women? It investigates and examines all the matter related to the safeguards that are provided by the constitutions and different laws of the country. It presents a report to the central government about all the investigations and examinations, all the status reports about the issues related to the women, about the safeguards that has been provided to the women, with the enforcement reports about those safeguards, and they keep all these information in the reports that they present to the central government. Then they review the existing provisions that are provided for the safety and security of women in the constitution, in the different statutes of the country, and they also provides different amendments that may be possible. They provide for the different amendments that may be possible in those statutes. Then they can also take suo motu cognizance of the matters relating to the deprivation of women's rights and non-implementations of the laws that are provided in the constitution or other statutes, and that will, in this way, they help in protecting the dignity of the woman. Then they also undertake the promotional and educational research related to the safeguards related to the safety and securities of the women. Then our next topic is related to the PLI scheme or Production Linked Incentive Scheme, which is a performance linked incentive to give companies incentive on incremental sales from the products that are manufactured in the domestic units. Here, there has been different key sectors that have been identified by the government, on which the government is providing this PLI scheme. The sectors like advanced chemistry and cell batteries to promote the EV sector. Then there is electronics technology sector, automobile and auto component sector, pharmaceutical and drug sector. There are 13 key sectors earlier has been identified, and now it has been increased further. So government want to focus here through this particular PLI scheme. How this will be implemented? This incentive will be provided based on the incremental sales. For example, in last year, a particular company did 10,000 rupees of incremental sales. Now, this year they have done incremental sale of 12,000. So, this incentive will be provided on this 2,000 rupees of incremented sale. This particular PLI scheme will also be significant in boosting the production, employment and economic growth. As per this data of Indian Staffing Federation, they have directly and indirectly provided more than 4.5 lakh jobs in India. Apart from this, in year 2021, government has announced 1.97 lakh crore worth of PLI scheme for 13 key sectors that has been presented here. So this also shows that government is very serious about this particular scheme, and they are implementing this particular scheme full-fledgedly. So our next topic is NSIL or New Space India Limited, which was established in year 2019 as a public sector enterprise and incorporated as a commercial arm of Department of Space. So what are the major aim for which this NSIL was established? It was established to tap the benefits of the research and development that are carried by the Indian Space Research Organization or ISRO. It want to garner the business that may be possible from the different countries of the world. It want to spearhead the commercializations of different space products that are being provided by the ISRO, including the production of launch vehicles, transfer of technologies and marketing of the space products that are being developed by the ISRO. It also at large wants to harness the India's space capabilities commercially. The mandate of this NSIL is it will help in owning the satellite for Earth observation and communication application and providing the space-based services to different clients. For example, small countries, nations who can't launch their vehicles on their own. It will also help in building satellites through the cooperation and collaborations of the private sector and launching them as per the demand of different clients of the world. So this was all from my side. Thank you for joining this session. All the very best for your exam.